Hi, welcome. Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome in, welcome. Guys, I know I took off a day. Oops. I took off a day. Um, just to be real, I took off a day. I ended up hanging out with my family, my dad. We hung out, um, and saw a couple movies. He's not a movie guy, but we saw some movies, you know, and hung out. He's a really good cook. The guy knows how to cook some really good stuff. So we had platanos. We had we had platanos. Platanos is like plantains. So you squash them, you fry them, you salt them or sprinkle adobo on it. Ketchup if you want. It's really good stuff. So anyways, I also took some time and I found the next thing I want to talk about. I won't talk about it today, but tomorrow for sure, we're going to talk about a poet who goes by the name, okay, William Ernest Henley and his poem Invictus. So we'll talk about that tomorrow for sure. I came across this poem a couple times in my life, and I recalled it a couple days ago, and I took the time and pursued that idea and immersed myself in reading a little bit about his life, about some of the poems he's written, and about the sentiments there. So tomorrow for sure, we'll talk about William Ernest Henley, who wrote the poem Invictus. We'll go over the poem and we'll do all that. Tonight though, I was doing a little testing. I wanted to stream earlier. Ideally, if I had gotten everything working sooner, I would have been streaming earlier, but I wasn't able to successfully get it working the way I needed it to. But I finally got it working. So we got it working now, and we're just gonna play for a few hours and just put in some more time, guys. Put in some content. So look, this is the new suit. It's look at that. It's Pico's classic fantasy suit. I told you guys I love the web wing suits. Okay, the web wing suits are legit. This one's a new web wing suit. It's Pico's Insomniac Amazing Fantasy number 15. Yes, that's it. That's it. Number 15. That's what we're gonna rock for a bit. So this is a new suit we just added. I wanted to add another web wing suit that came out, the Romita suit by Agrofro, I believe. But unfortunately, when I would add it, it wouldn't add the icon properly, and so I gotta work on that. But right now we're gonna we're gonna do this suit instead. Whoa. Okay, guys, duty calls. Ready? Duty calls, guys. Ready? Okay. All right. So here we go. There's a guy right here in the back. We're gonna just take him out first. All right. They don't know what's happening. Obviously, Spider-Man, he's very good at the stealth stuff. If you know what you're doing, this game definitely allows you to stealth it out. I was looking to add the first-person mod, the first-person camera mod back, but I noticed that unfortunately, the creator Avernex altered the vanilla jump height. And so I can't use it because my combos tend to go for the vanilla and then I use charge jump. Um, so I can't go for that right now. Unfortunately, can't go for it right now. But not to worry, guys. I did reach out to him, and he was nice enough to respond back, and he mentioned that yeah, he might add a modular piece to that so that people who like the vanilla jump can use that in addition to his other mods. So that's what we're gonna wait on. But in the meantime, we added a new suit. So I say we're gonna we're gonna go change that up, change the time. It's gonna be nighttime. It's the evening. I feel like playing in the evening. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Uh, you know, life is always gonna throw challenges at you, and you know, today today was no exception. And so I hope everyone's doing well and that you're still fighting the good fight. I know I'm gonna do my best to keep fighting the good fight along with you guys. Oh, we're gonna get sniped. Let's get out of here. We gotta go. We gotta like stealth these guys, these snipers. So okay, let me see. We just gotta actually take them out sneakily. Okay, ready? Okay, wait. So we got those two. I know there was like a couple others. I had like 4. Okay, there. So a couple more here. Hello. Nice to see ya. Okay. Maybe I believe it was only 4. If that's all, let's go for the takedown. Yep. Okay, it looks like everyone else is... Okay, wow. Okay. Guys, never underestimate your opponents, okay? Okay, look. They got some backup. Ready? Never underestimate these peeps. Okay, ready? And... oh, snap. Okay. Whoa. Okay. There we go. Let's bring this guy up here. And... whoa. Oh, snap. Yep. And he's down. Okay. I see another one right here. Oh. I can't believe it. Shooting at me and I was like, nope. No thanks. No thank you. No thanks. I'm allergic to lead. Alright. So... guys, Sable Center right here. Let's get it. Let's do some Sable Center fights. In my opinion, the Sable Center. Oh, we got some crime. The Sable Center. One of the more tougher areas to negotiate because you have more experienced jetpackers, and they know how to flank you. In the DLC. Hammerhead thugs, they get a hold of jetpacks, but you can tell they're not as experienced. That was one of those like really nice touches that Insomniac added. So if you're noticing, there is some background theme music, and that's based off of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And yeah, the background song is called I'm Moving to England. So that's what the background song is. And I've never been to England, but I liked that song a lot. So I thought it was pretty nice, and it's touching because it reminds me of Spider-Man, and his relationship with Gwen Stacy, and unfortunately Gwen Stacy she passed in that movie because of the Green Goblin doing what he did, which is always a sad thing when someone you love. Oh man. All right, guys, let's get it. Ready? Woo! All right. They had no idea. Okay, we gotta hit this truck up. Wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. And nice. Oh, snap. I like how it just kind of flows. Everything in Spider-Man flows. It flows very well, in my opinion, at least. So yeah, the flow. Very good flow here. I work on that flow, guys. You know, took a lot of time to get that flow, but once you got the flow, you know, and then you can just go with it. So here's to everyone finding their flow. All right, time to get it. Let's get into it. Like I said, thanks for joining me, guys. I changed up some of the mods. We got Starry Night mod. I like Starry Night mod. Get to see how big the universe is, or at least you get to see just a smidgen of it. It's really nice. I've learned some new words, and we'll go over some new words tomorrow. Um, uh, in high school and in college, you know, I was very good at words. I knew how to do my words. We had vocab tests all the time, so you know, I think I mentioned this, and not to brag or anything, but you know, I was valedictorian, so I was the top student of my class, and so you know, I always did my homework, and you know, the benefits of that is that I get to be very educated, right? When you do your homework and actually do the work. So I take um, I take great pride in being able to say I you know learned a lot of words in high school, a lot of SAT words. And I was reading some poetry by William Ernest Henley, and he used a lot of words that I had not really heard in years since doing all those SAT, you know, tests. And so I would like to review some of that tomorrow. I remember a few years ago when I was going back to school for an additional college accreditation as an X-ray technician. I would go ahead and do some Quizlets with you guys, and we would just go over anatomy. To be quite honest, if I ever went back to school, I thought, okay, you know, because I already tried going to X-ray school, and I didn't flunk out. I ended up leaving because of all of the things everyone would tell me. Like they would advise me not to do it. And then I went to medical laboratory school, and I did that, and I didn't flunk out. I ended up just not continuing because of the pandemic issues. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I'd really want to go back to school, but I know there's only one real good reason I would be willing to go back and get another degree, and that's to become an educator and get an actual teaching degree. And I would do that because I would actually want to learn. And I know this is a big deal, a big dream or whatever, but I'm truly, you know, praying that if I ever get a chance to have, you know, like my own family in my life, what I'd like to do is get a second college degree, a bachelor's in education, so that I could ensure that I teach my children to the best of my ability. And so that would be pretty much the only reason I would be willing to go back to school and do all that work again. And to be quite honest, I mean, I have already 120 college credits. So I know that I think after 7 years or so, those college credits no longer can transfer to other degrees. But I'd be so willing to just do my best, give it another shot, and learn everything I possibly can of value so that I could be a very good educator for my kids if I ever got to that level, if I ever got to be so lucky. Um, like that's what I'd be willing to go back to school for. So I don't think I'd like to go back for any other reason. Um, I just don't see myself going back to receive like another accreditation or certification or bachelor's degree for anything else. I already have a 4-year bachelor degree, so I'm not really worried about getting an actual accreditation. I've never actually had to use my degree for any of the jobs that I've had after post-college. So it's just one of those things where I'm not really concerned about getting another degree, especially because I've been so lucky enough that, Biden has vowed to work at student loan forgiveness. So with that, I think that's a good sign for me to not try to go back to school for anything. It's like, look, when I first went to school, I actually was able to get scholarships to pay for all 4 years of my undergraduate. And, I never used that degree. So when I went back to school, I ended up having to take out student loans because I was only working at the hospital, and it wasn't something where I was earning more than like, you know, $20,000 a year. And so, you know, I ended up, taking out loans. And like I mentioned before, it's not learning that's a difficult thing for me. Um, I think it's just finding like a reason to do it. Because I can learn things and I can use those things in a knowledgeable way, but I don't really see a reason in why. I don't have a real reason why yet. So the only way I'd ever go back to school now would be to learn how to become a good educator or learn what I need to learn in order to homeschool my kids. If I ever get to have children, to homeschool my children. That truly, I would love to do that. I mean, truly in my heart, like I know it'd be a lot of work because when I got my first degree, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of late nights. And I don't drink coffee, but I remember a few times I drank coffee. You know what I mean? I drank coffee. Um, and I never drink coffee, guys. I promise. I never drink coffee. I don't like coffee, but I remember drinking coffee so I could stay up and study. So, yeah, that's kind of what I would like to do if I was ever given a chance. To have a reason. I think a good reason for me to go back to school would be because I want to teach, because I want to be able to teach people that I care about and do my very best for them so that I could do all the work I need to do to show them how much I love and appreciate my people, you know? So but yeah, I mean, I've been told I would be a good teacher. You know what I mean? I've been told that. And so, you know, I mean, and I've had a lot of amazing teachers throughout my high school years and my yeah, I mean mostly in high school. High school is when I really found amazing teachers to learn a lot from. My biology teacher, um, chemistry teacher, anatomy teacher. So I've I've learned a lot from a lot of good educators. So I know that I've been told I could do it. And I definitely don't feel like I would struggle all that much in having the confidence and the motivation. It's just that right now, I just don't have a real motivation. Like, you know, but I definitely have started convincing myself, because I've been really trying to think about a lot of like the long-term things, goals in my life. And so, you know, now nothing's really guaranteed in this life, and so I definitely don't want to ever assume things are going to work out for me, or assume I'll ever, find like certain things. But I know, at least for, like having an idea and just having the idea and being open to that idea of educating, of becoming like a certified educator, you know. But I would only do that for like my personal homeschooling, you know. Right now, like it's just in terms of like the culture, like American culture, it's just one of those things where I feel like a lot of educators are being taken for granted. And so the powers that be are really kind of screwing up, I think, and they're kind of ruining the culture. And so, um, yeah, so I'm not really interested in becoming an educator for any other people besides my own like children. And I personally would be very scared to allow my children to go to public school or even private school, just because of all the potential bad that could happen. With public school, you're basically putting your children at risk of gun violence and stuff. And so, every day parents are taking a chance when they drop their kids off to school, because it's just not a good time right now for that. The culture is just trying to get resettled. So I'm just very weary of that, of taking that risk myself, especially when I mean, look, my parents, they did everything they could for me. And so I'm thinking to myself, yeah, so the best way I could live a better life is to actually be an educator. Like, my parents, they did what they could to get me to school every day. And I feel like the only next step for advancement is to become my children's educator. Whereas like my parents took me to school, the next logical step for me would be to provide the schooling. I guess the only way I could like, basically like do better than my parents did for me is to actually become the the actual teacher. And so, that's where I'm at on schooling right now. you know but I'm very grateful that I took a chance in my 20s to try to go back to school, but nothing really stuck for me. Nothing really stuck. And so, like, another concern is the idea of being displaced. Like, I know I was reading a story from like a study from Stanford University when I was going into X-ray as an X-ray technician. I was actually reading a study from, I believe, Stanford, where they actually created an AI that was able to read and diagnose certain disorders in X-rays with a lot of accuracy and with a lot of expediency. And I thought to myself, huh, right now the way it works is a radiologist is the one that sits in the dark room and examines the X-ray pictures. They examine the X-ray. They see the diffraction. They see the gradients in hard tissue and soft tissue, and they're the ones who have to determine what's wrong. You know, for any fractures or anything like that. So that's what they do right now. But imagine an AI that could enhance the legibility, so you could process X-rays faster and diagnose faster with more accuracy. And I'm thinking, okay, if a radiologist no longer needs to sit in a room for hours and review these X-rays, then it's only a matter of time before the radiologist and the X-ray technician job fuse, right? So, and a radiologist, instead of just sitting in the room and watching and looking at the X-ray, what will happen is the radiologist will go and actually grab the patient from the room or escort them to the X-ray X-ray machine, take the actual X-ray images, and then just escort the patient back. And as that's happening, the AI will start processing the picture, and then the X-ray, and then the radiologist slash X-ray technician, because this would be one position at this point. By the time they get back to the room where the pictures are actually imaged for review, they would see what the AI has already found. They can examine it, but most of the legwork has already been done. So the images were taken by the radiologist slash X-ray tech, who's now one thing. So they would just be an X-ray personnel, right? And then basically the person would have the images done, and so you would no longer need to have a radiologist and an X-ray technician. You could have the roles fused, because otherwise it would be redundant, because the AI could already do what the radiologist does. So what you'd want to do is have someone who can basically read X-rays the same as the radiologist, but also be able to have the physical means of transporting the patient. So that is that was one of my concerns when I was learning about the X-ray field, the radiology field. I was like, huh. So maybe over time X-ray techs will just get displaced. And so that's that I definitely feel like that's a real concern. At least for me, it's a very fair concern, right? Because here I am, I'm trying to invest in myself, and I'm looking at the future, and I'm already seeing patterns and trends. And so it would only be a matter of time before most jobs get displaced, right? And I mean, even for where I'm at now, as a cashier, when I was cashiering, my one of my 6 managers actually, we were discussing like what would happen, future plans for like the corporation, and he mentioned that kiosks, automated kiosks and tellers would be implemented, so no one would no longer need to stay up at the front of the store to solely just manage the cash register, right? So as opposed to that, they would just have AI or like automated tellers, and there would still be a shift lead, but that shift lead would pretty much do everything the cashier would do and everything the shift lead would do. And so there would be less need for personnel. And so he told me that would probably happen within a couple years, where that technology would start appearing in the wall store that I was working at. So, in terms of my concern there, I totally get it. Like, I see that, like the future, has a lot of really miraculous things to look forward to, but there's also, a lot of change that happens. And so it reminds me of that story when horse-drawn carriages were popular and cars had just come out. People in the horse carriage industry were afraid of being displaced. And so what ended up happening was there was this upheaval of an industry that went from horse-drawn carriages and people who could man and operate horse-drawn carriages now to automobiles. And so, a lot of jobs I feel that, could have been that were manned by people before, will start being automated. And so I'm just kind of looking at this whole thing as, okay,
And
what is
Civil
the
International swears they're
safest
going to prosecute that squad.
safest thing?
I'll believe it when I see it.
What is the safest thing for me to pursue? You know, like what would actually guarantee the safest thing for my future and to secure my future, Um, because, my parents really want me to, find something I can do. And, I really do want to just find a good purpose and lead a good life, honestly. And so, I just don't want to be in a place where I end up investing into a position I think it's going to help serve me and provide me with a good life. And what ends up happening is I invest, and then let's say I get comfortable. I'm like, okay, look, this career type, this field pays. And so then I start feeling confident. And then let's say I do start having extra income. And then I use that income to, maybe start dating and trying to find a partner. And then what ends up happening is I get displaced. And then I no longer have a good financial grounding in my life. And then I'd have to redo everything, and I'd have to figure it out soon because, like obviously, like I basically provided my partner with the idea that I would always be able to have income, because that would be the only way I would feel comfortable dating someone in the first place, is only if I could generate income. And so if I fail to keep generating income due to me being displaced in the job that I'm at, then I end up having a situation that I don't want, where my parents already split, and so it seems like everyone splits, and I don't want to be a statistic. Honestly, I don't want to be a statistic. I really don't want to be a statistic where I end up being another separated or divorced man in 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 this world. I don't want to be that way. And so, as opposed to putting anyone through that hardship with me, I would rather just figure out the best means of trying to get some stability first, where I don't feel like I can be displaced very easily. And then only then would I ever be like, okay, you know what? I'm pretty confident now. I think I can feel confident enough that I wouldn't get displaced very easily, and that I could go ahead and, offer myself as like a vulnerable person, and, you know allow myself to, feel comfortable with someone and sharing my life and time with someone. So yeah, so right now that's something that I'm really trying to figure out, because I just don't want to get to a point where, I feel comfortable doing something and then I end up having an issue where
Sable International swears
finances
they're going to
become an
prosecute
issue,
that squad.
and then
I'll believe
I
it when
had
I see it.
already been stupid enough to put myself out there and get a relationship and have a relationship with someone. So I don't want to put someone through that where we're both having issues because of money. So I just gotta, I don't know, I gotta think, you know. But truly, you know, I just, I don't want to put someone through that with me. Like, I don't want someone to ever have that hardship on account of me because I was displaced, you know, and by like automation or something. So I gotta, I gotta figure it out, you know. But in the meantime, I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I just need to like really experience what it means to not have protection from my parents, you know? And so, you know, I've been considering just kind of like, okay, if I don't find some means of being able to keep my apartment and keep a shelter, I think I'm just gonna Hebrews 11:38, and I'm just gonna wander the beach, wander the beach, and just follow the coast all through the peninsula. And then I was thinking, okay, well, I don't think it's, I think some parts of like the coast of like the beach are like private property. So I don't think you can actually walk across the entire peninsula of Florida. I don't think that's possible. I think there are just like some places where they bought, like they own the literal sand, and so you can't walk to on that part, right? You can't walk on that part. So I was thinking, okay, well, would I probably have to like go in the ocean for a little bit and swim past the part of sand that they own, or would I have to like walk more inland and walk around the part that they own so I could go back to walking on the beach? Because I'm pretty sure you can't really walk like I'm pretty sure like some of the beach parts, like the literal, like imagine like, you know, the like Florida as the peninsula, right? Surrounded on three sides by water. And then, you know, when where the ocean meets the land, there's sand there, right? And so I'm pretty sure that some of that sand area where the ocean meets the land, it's private property. So you can't actually walk across the entire peninsula. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking I'll probably just walk as much as I can and then just walk around places where I can't walk on the beach and then go back to walking on the beach where it's like allowed again. But that's really my plan. I think if I really, you know, like if I really prove to myself, you know, that it's way more worthwhile just trying to do something as opposed to hiding myself and hiding behind my parents for like my survival. If I can truly just like witness it myself and say, okay, look, I am gonna experience being homeless, right? Like I, instead of like trying to delay the inevitable, I think it's like one of those things where like adopted animals, right? An animal that has been abandoned, or they experience being abandoned. If they ever get the chance to be adopted, I've heard that they're very like they have a different attitude. They have a different attitude. Like they're like that. Animals act more like, you know, calm, and they're like very happy because, you know, they have a home. And so I think put myself through a situation where I show myself what it's like to not have a home and not have any protection and a shelter, then maybe I will like wake up and be like, you know what? Anything is better than being homeless. Because for a long time, homelessness was the only motivating factor I had to in order to like make me want to work, right? It was the only factor. It was the only issue. It was the only thing that was driving me to be like, hey, look, I'd rather work in the emergency department and do this hard job than to be homeless, right? But I feel that right now I've been so easily chillaxed that maybe this is a sign that I need to take it on myself to put myself through that so that I could be more grateful for the opportunity of being able to work at any place, any corporation, for any position, and just be grateful. So, I mean, and trust me, look, I had my inspiration today, okay? And I'll read it to you guys. And my inspiration, I mean, honestly, like, I just don't know what else to do but put my faith in Jesus. And you know, I mean, I take the humility from Jesus as the best way of living, because Jesus did not ask to be clothed in gold or adorned in gold or dressed up to as a rich person. Jesus was humble. And so look, for my inspiration today, it said, do not hesitate to receive joy from me, for I bestow it on you abundantly. The more you rest in my presence, the more freely my blessings flow into you. In the light of my love, you are gradually transformed from glory to glory. It is through spending time with me that you realize how wide, how and long and high and deep is my love for you. Sometimes the relationship I offer you seems too good to be true. And that is so real, guys. Like me personally, I look at my life and I'm like, I am way too lucky to have, like, even though my parents are divorced, I'm way too lucky to have, like, had grown up with two loving parents who protected me and sacrificed for me, okay? And, siblings and everything. It's like, so sometimes, and I know it was, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful to God for that. And so it says, sometimes the relationship I offer you seems too good to be true. Because I sometimes just don't feel like I'm worthy, guys. I just don't feel like I'm worthy sometimes. I feel like, honestly, in my heart, I'm like, I'm just not worthy of all the good things I have in my life. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not. I just, and so I'm very lucky. And so it says, I pour my very life into you, and all you have to do is receive me. In a world characterized by working and taking, the admonition to rest and receive seems too easy. There is an intricate connection between receiving and believing. As you trust me more and more, you are able to receive me and my blessings abundantly. Be still and know that I am God. And so that was my inspiration for today. And honestly, it's like, it's difficult for me to understand what exactly I need to do or accomplish in my life. And I've always felt like I needed to be busy doing something. And because, that's just how the world wants us to feel, right? The world wants us to always have something that makes us busy so we can't actually enjoy spending time with Jesus. And so I've taken the last few months, and as opposed to trying to work and focus on working for, to serve uh, like money. I'm actually trying to like get a good mentality first so that I could find something that doesn't compromise my relationship with God and still would allow me to hopefully, be able to have, a means of being able to make my parents happy by becoming like, an independent adult who can afford his own stuff, you know? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what is going to happen, but at this point, I know that, I only have a few months before I really can't do this anymore, and I will have to, vacate the apartment that I'm at, So I'm not really sure what the future is gonna hold for me, guys, but I'm just gonna have faith. And honestly, I mean, the whole fear, like me being afraid of being outside in the elements and being homeless, is I think a test. It's like if I fear being homeless, okay, and I fear in my life, then I'm not actually believing and having faith in Jesus to guide me to where I need to be. So, I have to be able to let go and say, you know what? Even if I ended up homeless, even if everyone in my life, left my side and I didn't have anyone, no loving connections anymore, I would still have Jesus. I would still have Jesus. And to be honest, it reminds me of this story of in the Bible where it's like Lazarus and the rich man. And so it talks about this man named Lazarus who was, very poor, destitute, impoverished, and he found himself at the gate of the home of a rich man. And the rich man was inside, and it was said that this rich man was eating sumptuously, right? And this rich man didn't believe in God. He didn't give any credence to God. He just basically ended up being wealthy, and he just lived it up, right? And what happened was Lazarus, who was outside the gates of this rich man, was just begging for crumbs off the table of the rich man. Like as the rich man was eating and stuff, like Lazarus would beg, for crumbs, for even crumbs, because he was so hungry. And Lazarus was very sick too. He had wounds on his body, and he was dying. He was dying. He was to the point where like dogs were licking at his wounds, like almost like feeding on him because he was on his way out. And so Lazarus ended up expiring. He ended up dying. And when he died, he was comforted and he was given mercy and he was given love by Jesus, and he was taken to heaven. And when the rich man passed, he went to hell. And when the rich man asked why was he not able to go to heaven just as Lazarus was, and he was told that the rich man already received his blessings. He already received his blessings, and because he failed to adhere to Jesus' love and mercy, compassion, and generosity, the rich man was doomed to live in hell forever. Whereas Lazarus, he was given eternal life in heaven. So I have to keep that in mind where I've been living so well. I've had my parents provide things for me. I've had opportunity And I've made like I mean I think my best year I made at least $10,000 one year, and that was the best. That was the like one of the best years I've had, right? Making money and stuff. And so I'm thinking now it's like I've lived a good life, and so I feel like in order to make me humble, maybe I do need to be outside. I do need to be scared of being like out there. I do need to starve. I do need to experience pain. I do need to experience fear
Roger
from
that. That
police.
Sable
I do need to
ps5pro before.
experience that
Sable International
because
government
maybe only
people
through
know
that
nothing
will
about
I
it. They
actually
don't care if we do.
be more grateful. You know what I mean? Of like the opportunity I have to just find a job, any job, and make some money, any money, and have a roof, any sort of roof, and have a shelter, any sort of shelter. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe that's what God is needing of me. Um, but that's just one thing because I'm also open to working in an office environment. I applied to a few jobs at the university that I live near, and so I mean, I have a degree, so I do have skills. I have tech skills that I can do, and I mean, I'm a good team worker, team member. I'm not really one for causing drama. I've never had an issue where personnel like were scared to work with me or couldn't like work with me. Like I cooperate with everyone and I'm very respectful, so I'm not worried about like maintaining a job or anything. So I just have to have faith. And it's like one of those things where it's like
Good.
I feel like I'm
Sable International
standing
swears they're
on,
going to prosecute
like
us,
on a
Todd. I'll believe it when I see
I'm
it.
like it's like the future and then all these self-driving cars and the self-driving cars like you're not supposed to actually be out on the road and self-driving cars they don't stop and it's like I have to have faith. I have to have faith. I'm standing on the railroad tracks and I'm like, dude, I really hope I can just get my mind right and my attitude right and just get something and find something and hopefully it can stick with me. And if not, I'm like, okay, well, I might have to experience like what a lot of people have to experience in life, and that's, like they have to experience the hardship. They have to experience, like having nothing. They have to experience like hardship. And so I've never really had to experience hardship like that. I mean, as a kid, my parents always took care of me. I never got into any trouble. I always stay at home. You know what I mean? I always stay at home. I'm a I'm a very quiet and content introvert, to be quite honest. Like when I'm out and about, yeah, like I'm definitely like, I can be very charismatic and stuff, but I'm so comfortable. I can get very comfortable staying at home alone, and you know, I mean, it's just how I am, I'm just very comfortable wherever. And so I don't know. I think maybe it's just I have to get rid of this fear of being homeless. And even if I have to be homeless, maybe that's what I need to kind of kickstart myself into taking my life more seriously, you know? Where it's like I'm willing to let myself drop and I'm willing to put total faith in Jesus. And when Jesus sees that I'm willing to do that and I'm willing to just go off the deep end and become homeless, then Jesus will help guide my heart and I will find the right opportunities and I will get the right job or the right
Roger
employment. I
that.
will
That Sable
get
unit is on
the
the road.
means of being able
Sable
to
International's got their hands too full keeping me out.
take
They
care
don't care
of
if we do.
myself and like take care of my health and take care of everything I need to take care of in life. So who knows? I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen in the next few months, but I think Jesus wouldn't want me to have fear of the future. I think what I need to do is just have confidence that no matter what, I can find the right thing if I have no fear anymore. You know what I mean? If I've removed that fear of being homeless, which has always kind of made me afraid of things, if I can just say, you know what? I'm no longer gonna have fear. I'm gonna do what I need to do, put my heart out where I need to put it, and just finally embrace not having any holdups, not holding myself back and being able to actually live. You know what I mean? So, I definitely have to consider how I'm gonna continue to maintain hygiene because that's a big thing for me. So, I'm definitely like gonna have to like consider how to reduce body odor so I'm not like a smelly person. So I think like, just kind of like trying to keep
And
some
Sable
deodorant,
International swears they're going to prosecute that
maybe
school.
I don't know, maybe
I'll
shaving
believe
my
it when I see it.
armpits. I know that sounds dumb, but if I shave my armpits, right, and all the hair is gone, it makes it a lot easier to clean, and there's no BO because the bacteria and stuff. They won't be able to like hide amongst like the hair, the keratin, the protein, structures of like your hair follicles. So I mean, that's what I'm thinking maybe might happen. I don't know yet. I'm definitely concerned, but I'm also working on having a peace of mind and faith in Jesus that like I can do it. That no matter what, I can do it. I'll be okay. I have a good head on my shoulders. I'm very, very thankful to God for providing me with the capacity to be a thinking person, to not have like any real defects, you know? So, I mean, technically, I am a carrier of sickle cell anemia. So I'm recessive for sickle cell anemia. So basically, sickle cell anemia is a disease in which protein structure in your hemoglobin is changed at the sixth place in the polypeptide chain. No, is it polypeptide? That's protein. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, like, there's a change in structure, and so the polarity of the hemoglobin changes, and so the shape changes. And so I'm recessive, meaning that I don't have the disease, but I do carry the genetic uh um like I do contain like the genetic abnormality of that. So it said that 1 in 10 people in Africa and things like that do have that.
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's
I
gone
do
below
have the
zero.
chance of that.
Sable International's got their hands
Like,
too full to
because
do anything about it.
they say like malaria was so prevalent that those with sickle cell, malaria is basically a disease in which it spreads through your blood, through hemoglobin, and so it's said that those who carry sickle cell, because they have some sickle cell shaped hemoglobin, that malaria doesn't spread, or it's not as bad as if all of your hemoglobin were moon shaped or circle shaped, right? Like round. And so those who had been carriers of sickle cell were able to have a better chance at surviving malaria. And so malaria was more prevalent from mosquitoes. It's given by mosquitoes when they basically use their proboscis and extract blood from you, and then they leave the malaria inside your blood. So they transfer malaria to you as they're extracting blood from you. So those with sickle cell, or who carried sickle cell traits or recessive for it, had a better chance at living if they were to contract malaria. So, and malaria is prevalent in certain places around the world. And so that's why it's said to be like more prevalent in certain types of communities. So, yeah, so besides me having sickle cell, like recessive sickle cell anemia, like I'm pretty healthy, right? So I'm fortunate for that. I mean, I actually, I mean, I do have pretty bad eyesight. I have pretty bad eyesight. I'm nearsighted, so I can't really see things too well without my glasses. And I used to wear contacts like all the time. But I don't really see the eye doctor. I think the last time I saw the eye doctor, the optometrist, was maybe 3 years ago. And the last time I saw a dentist was maybe 3 years ago as well. So, and I mean, I don't know. I've never actually, I mean, had a stable job where I could afford to go and feel like the money was worth it. Where I had money to spend like that. So I just don't get used to doing that. So, I mean, I'm very lucky that I can take care of my things so well. So my glasses I've had for a few years, and so I'm very lucky that I can take care of my stuff, so I don't have to worry about like not being able to see. Because if I didn't have my glasses, I could like basically my eyesight's so poor that if I didn't have my glasses, I wouldn't be able to see like faces or anything. Like unless like you're right up on my face, I couldn't really see you that well.
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's gone rogue before. Sable
So
International's got their hands too full to do anything about it, but they don't care if we do.
oh yeah, so I can't really see all that well. But besides my poor eyesight and sickle cell, I'm actually very fortunate. Yeah. Anyways, these Goombas, bro. I love when these Goombas come out. I love it when the Goombas come out. Who let the Goombas out? Who let the Goombas out? Yeah. Oh yeah. Who let the Goombas out? Who? Oh, the round is done already. Wow. Wow, we're flowing really good, aren't we? Man, this is nice. It's just, it comes with experience, guys. Comes with experience. I'm a very very much so a homebody, so I have a lot of time on my hands.
Good.
So I try to do
Sable
something,
International swears they're going to
and
prosecute the
why
plan.
not try
I
to
believe it when I see it.
extol Spider-Man, you know? It's like while I'm pretty much on the verge of not sure what I'm gonna do, but try to do something, I'm just gonna try to do my best here and yeah. All right, so I really do like this web wing suit. Look at that though. The web wings are very nicely done. Very nice. Yeah. Hey, Goombas. So I heard there's a Super Mario movie coming out. So I can't wait to hear what's the verdict on that movie. Now, I don't think I'm gonna be able to see it when it comes out, but you know, it's nice if there's, I mean, I grew up with Mario. It wasn't my first game, but I remember on my Game Boy Color, I had the original Super Mario Bros. And I played all the stages, you know what I mean? So I definitely know my way around the original, the OG Mario. I played it on Game Boy Color, so boom, boom. What are you doing running in circles, brother? Come on, I'm gonna help you out here. Whoa. Ready? Oh, come here, brother. Where you going, jetpack? Come on, man. You were so confident when you were shooting energy bindings at me. Oh, yeah. Bro, look at that. Oh, look at those lights on that bridge. Very nice. I love it. I love this.
Spider-Man, that
So
Sable wing has
good.
gone
All
bust
right, come here.
before. Sable
What?
International swears they're full to winning this battle, but they don't care if we lose.
All right. Yeah. Oh, oh wait. Hey, woo. Well, I'm not done with this guy yet. All right, jetpack guy. I know. Come here. All right, come here. Come here. Come. Oh, look, all you Goombas waiting in line for me. Oh, there you go. There you go. What? Is there a dude hiding there? Bro, come out. Come out, dude. Come out here. All right. Unless you're just gonna leave. All right. Just drop all your weapons. Like I said, I'm not looking to beat up anybody. So if anybody wants to just walk away, they can. More than welcome to leave if you want. I won't. I won't hold it against you. I won't judge you at all. In fact, I think that would be like awesome if you guys would drop your weapons, and that way I can open this cage and let all these people out. But apparently, apparently you guys are still not dropping your weapons yet. So I gotta beat everybody up and then open the cage. But hey, it is what it is, right? If the world were actually perfect, no one would need to be Spider-Man, right? No one would need Spider-Man.
Good.
But then if
And Sable
no one needed
International swears
Spider-Man to
they're going
be
to prosecute
this
that squad.
this
I
much of
don't
a
believe it when I see it.
self-sacrificing hero, he could actually maybe develop his life. Maybe he could actually, like, you know, actually have a have a life. He could work for Apple or something. You know. Whee! Did they see me? Did they see me or not? No, they didn't. Goomba! Hello, Goomba! God, I'm Spider-Man. Alright, come here, Goomba. Goomba, come out and play. Alright. Oh, they found me. They found me already. Alright, alright, alright. No need to start shooting at me. Alright. Alright, we'll take care of everybody now. Alright. Come here, come here. Yeah, but here we go. Here we go. Hey, booyah. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, all right. Woo! Oh, jetpack! Thank you so much, bro. That was a freebie right there. All right, all right. Hello. There you go, guys. Feeling the flow right now. That's right. Hey. Ooh. Ah. Oh. Oh, jetpack, where you going? All right. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's gone rogue before. Sable International's got their hands too full to do anything about it. They don't care what you
Woo! Oh. Goombas. Goombas. Did it. Did it. Did it. Did it. Whoa, 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 ouch. Yee. Yeah. Oh, red rain, no. Woo! You thought you had me. Whoa, whoa, come on, man. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Ow! Ow, 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 ow. What? Uh-huh. Oh, we having a good old fight in the air now. Come on, jetpack guy. Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Come on, jetpack guy. Look at that. I took him out differently. I usually take him on the air, but I was like, let's try something different. Oh no. Don't you do it, missile guy. Don't shoot missiles at me. Don't do it. Oh. Oh no, don't do it, don't do it. There's like two people with missiles now. I'm scared. Guys, don't shoot missiles at me. Don't shoot missiles at me. Come on. Uh-huh. Oh, okay, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, oh man. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, don't do, don't. Ah, Autumn. Right on. Yes. Easy slide. Easy slide. Okay, wait. Oh, I knew you were going for that, bro. And I just threw that back at you. Nice. Okay. Ready? Just open. Open sesame this cage. Guys, you're free now. Alright. You're free, you're free. No worries, no problems here, guys. I'm very happy to help.
And Sable International
Okay.
swears they're going to prosecute
I'm
that
very
squad.
happy.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Whew. Guys, I don't know about you, but if I had the power to rescue people who are locked in cages all day, well, I guess I kind of am doing that. But you know, if there were actually people in cages, you know, I'd be so happy to help. I'd be like, okay, why are they in cages again? Okay, and okay, you need to process them. Okay, well, can we process them a little faster here? Like, you know, because I don't want people hanging out in cages. That's terrible. You know? Ugh. Like, I can't help but, you know, to think about all the people that currently at the border and they're just sitting in cages. Their whole families are sitting in cages. Apparently, they're also being forced to get hysterectomies. So it's gruesome. It's gruesome. You know. Hey, look, I'm 30 years old right now, right, guys? I have to be at least 35 to become president, okay, of America. So I still have 5 years. I gotta get my shit together, guys. And in 5 years, okay, in 5 years, I'd be eligible to become president, okay? 'Cause 35 is the minimum, okay? 35 is the minimum. So here's to me figuring out what I need to do in 5 years so I could be that, you know. I could be there, actually help, do something meaningful, actually help people not be in cages, you know. Woo! Come on, guys. I've been doing the Sable fights for quite a while. Yep. Ooh, yep. Woo! Hey, oh. Come here. And down. Hey, that flashlight, good for you. You got a light, man. You got a light. Good job. Oh, jetpack. Grounded.
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's gone rogue before. Sable International's got their hands too full to do anything about it, but they don't care if we do.
Woo! Right. Guys, I hope everyone out there who's watching this right now, I hope you guys are having a good one. I hope you're finding a good sense of peace in your life. Truly, I know things can kind of mess people up sometimes, but in my heart, deep and truly, in my heart, I am hoping that right now you can take a second and find something in your life that you're so grateful for. whether it's a moment, whether it's a relationship, whether it's hope for something, a dream of some sort. I hope you can just take a second right now and think of that, contemplate that,
Good.
okay,
And
and
Sable
have
International
that
swears they're going to
peace in your
process
heart right
passport.
now.
I'll
I'm
believe it when I
praying for
see
you
it.
guys. I'm hoping for you guys, hoping that it comes true, that that happiness, that that peace that you're contemplating of, I hope that that right there, that feeling, I hope that that feeling becomes more prevalent in your life. I hope that comes true for you, guys. That's my dream for you guys. That whatever's in your heart that can make you, even just for a moment, feel at peace or comfortable. I don't know what it could be, guys, but anything that gives you some comfort, some peace, I hope that feeling gets amplified and becomes more common in your life. Okay? I hope that in the future people watch this stuff, if they do, and I hope that it almost helps in a way. Helps somebody somewhere, you know. I know I've already been told by one very, very cool person that his interaction on my stream really brightened his day and really helped him through some stuff. And because of that, I already feel like I've done what I really felt like I just wanted to do at a minimum. Now it's to just help someone, anyone. And so, I mean, I've been told before that, you know, I've been streaming for years, guys. I've been streaming for years in the past, but Spider-Man hadn't come out, so I was just streaming some other stuff, and to be quite honest, I wasn't in the best headspace. I just didn't have Jesus, and so I didn't have that concept of what true peace can feel like and what gratitude really is supposed to be. So now that I have those, I'm very glad that I can produce more content. But even then, even when I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, or mentally at least, I've had people sometimes jump in the stream,
Spider-Man, that Sable
and
unit's
they
gone
would
rogue
talk to
before.
me, they would
Sable
chat in
International's
my
got their hands
stream,
too full to do anything about
and
it,
I
but
can't
they don't
help but to
care if
be
it's
super super nice, because honestly I know that I don't put myself out there, but if someone brings themselves out there to hear, then I do want to make them feel comfortable. I don't want to make them feel awkward here. I truly am grateful to be streaming, and if you'd like to reach out and talk to me, by all means. And I've had people, every once in a while comment and just try to talk to me, and I definitely am more than happy to kind of throw some positivity their way. Some words of encouragement goes a long way, because I know what it feels like to not be able to have any faith in others and not be able to trust others very well. And I'm not saying that you should trust me. I'm not a perfect person, guys. um I definitely don't think I deserve your trust outright. you know what I am saying though is that on a certain level, there at least is, I do have a spirit of cooperation. you know um so I'm more than happy to have a spirit of cooperation. Now, does that mean I'm gonna feel um at ease to be more vulnerable with the person? No, not really. I can't really be like that. But if you're having some issue, you just need some words of encouragement, I'm definitely able to offer you that.
good. And
Like I
Sable
say,
International swears
it's
they're
like
going
the
to
story
process
of the Good
passport.
Samaritan.
I'll believe it when
in the Bible where, my fear is this, as a good Samaritan, like there's someone dying on the side of the road. I definitely want to call for help. I definitely want to offer help. If there was someone who, okay, it's like right now, modern times, right? If I came across someone and they needed help, right? They needed a place to stay. Let's say I had like, a family. I had a wife, children. They needed a place to stay. What I would do is just offer them some money so they could stay at a hotel. Um, because I just wouldn't feel comfortable allowing my family to be held at risk. You know what I mean? But I would like, for me, here's what I would do. And I tell myself this all the time. It's like if I had extra money and income, I would be more than happy to give anyone, like a hand up. But I would never ever feel comfortable like opening my home to anyone, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like that just wouldn't be for me. I like I would definitely like order an Uber for you and get like order like reserve a hotel room for a person. I just wouldn't feel comfortable allowing a person to stay in my house, especially like if I had like children, if I had like a wife and stuff. I wouldn't want to invite anyone into my home, but I would be more than happy to like offer them, money so that they could, you know, uh, get a room in a motel or a hotel somewhere, and they could like buy, some food or dinner out in a restaurant. I would be like, I wouldn't even think twice about that. But I would definitely have a lot of reservations, letting a stranger stay around my family. You know what I mean? Like in any situation. So, like, I like for me, I couldn't even imagine like if I had like a house and not every room was being used at that time, and I could like rent out a part of that. I wouldn't do it. I would rather not have the extra money because I'd rather have the security and the safety of privacy and not having strangers potentially doing anything untoward to my family. You know what I mean? Like I can't help but to think, like like if I was lucky enough to have like a good, like lucky enough to have a family, I would do everything I can to protect them. So I wouldn't be able to just open up my home to a stranger or anything like that. But I would help that stranger out by giving them cash
I'll believe it when I see it.
and sending them on their way so that they had shelter that they could go to temporarily. But I really couldn't allow myself, like I just don't think I could ever really open up my home to strangers, especially if I had, like kids in the home, or like a wife or something. Like I just don't I just don't ever want to find myself in a situation where, like I let myself be vulnerable, and then I didn't pay the price. One of my innocent people paid the price. Like that would hurt me a lot, because yeah, I'm a guy, it's whatever, but really like my fear is that someone that is vulnerable, that is in my home, in my life, that they pay the price for me trying to be a nice guy. You know what I mean? So it's like it's it's a real tough struggle for me to, you know, admit that, because it's like saying, oh, so wait, you're saying like if someone needed something like a place to stay, you wouldn't, and they needed help, you would just give them all the money they needed to get a hotel or motel room and money for being able to buy food. But you wouldn't let them stay at your house where you have like little kids present and like your wife there as well. And I'd be like, yeah, yeah. I don't mean to sound like mean about it, but I truly just wouldn't feel comfortable letting anyone stay at my house. Now, let's say it's just me. Let's say I find myself in a place where it's just me and I'm living by myself, right? And there's no one that I have to protect. It's just me. Then I could see myself opening up like where I'm at, so like a friend or a buddy could stay. But in terms of like if I had other people to look out after, I couldn't. It would just be, and I hope that's not a bad thing, guys, that I'm admitting that, because like I know a lot of people are like, what do you mean, man? If strangers came to me, I would totally open up my home and like expose my kids to anything that person might be up to. And I understand, like, you're very brave and you're confident and you're really putting yourself out there. And honestly, that is more Christ-like than anything, to have absolutely no fear of anyone doing anything bad is truly how Christ lived, right? Like, Christ never feared anyone up until the moment he was crucified. He was willing to go against the emperor. He was willing to go against popular belief. He was willing to go against the money lenders and changers at the temple. He was willing to go against everything, the entire culture, until they finally crucified him for it, right? So, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if Jesus had a home and he wasn't like a traveler, that he would open up his home to anyone and everyone. And so, like, in the spirit of that, yeah, I totally get how that makes sense, like, if, like, because your sentiment is you do it out of love and mercy, so you want to share your good fortune. And I totally get that. Like you're not failing to convince me. I totally believe you. And I totally believe that, yeah, like, I feel like being able to feel like you could put your people at ease because God is there for you is like really living with faith, right? It's like super living with faith. It's like, I'm not afraid of anything or anyone. I'm not afraid of anything bad happening because I believe in God and I believe that God loves us, and so I have no fear. And it's like, I believe in God. I definitely have faith. It's just one of those things where I feel like you can have faith in Jesus, but let's say you're in the woods and you see like a bear. Would you have faith that the bear wouldn't eat you or maul your face off because God is real and God loves you? Like, would you allow yourself to approach the bear and you have faith that the bear will be calm and that you could get up close to the bear and the bear wouldn't attack you because like, you have faith that God would take care of everything? Or would you say, I have faith in Jesus and I actually believe that God is giving me a sense of fear and self-preservation here because he wants me to run away from the bear and do good works in Jesus' name, alive. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it's the latter. I don't think that God needs us to go up to bears and challenge them not to eat us, like polar bears or lions and stuff. I don't think he needs us to go up to gorillas and try to not get destroyed and like eaten and ripped apart by these animals. I feel like we can have faith that Jesus is looking out for us, and we can also accept that if Jesus put a sentiment in our heart, it's for good reason. So if I feel like, if I ever had a home and I had people to protect, I feel that God has given me a sentiment to say, protect them. Offer whatever you need to offer to the person who needs a place to stay. Offer them cash money so they could, get a hotel. Offer them like cash for a taxi so they could get to the hotel, and offer them some food money, sure. But I feel like God is telling me, don't allow anyone in your home. Just pay them some money so they can stay somewhere else and they can work on what they need to work on, but that you can continue to maintain the safety and security for your family, for your loved ones. So I hope that I'm, making some sense here, and maybe, I'm convincing you that, you know, you should never hesitate to part with money,
And Sable
okay?
International swears
You
they
should
won't
never
hurt you,
hesitate to
that's
part
God.
with money, especially if you have like, a good life, good family in your heart. You know that these things should make it so that you are grateful, and so you are willing to sacrifice all the money you have to keep your loved ones. I mean, I would totally do that. Like, there's not any amount of money in the world that I could receive that would ever make me want to trade any of my people. Like, I would never trade my family for any money. No way. I'd rather be poor for the rest of my life and have my parents around than to have money and not have my parents or like siblings around. So but that's just me. That's just me. But I feel like, I came to that conclusion like with a lot of prayer and asking God to really help guide me and guide my emotions and sentiments. And so, you know, through a lot of prayer, I encouraged myself to really step back and say, okay, what is most important to me? And, with me having witnessed that, like through what I've witnessed in my life, to know in my heart that God truly is real, I can take a lot of comfort knowing that, I would totally give a person money to stay somewhere else, you know, over like putting my family in danger. Like if I saw someone who needed help, I would definitely call the police and everything, and I would call emergency services. But I don't know. I know this sounds bad, but I just don't know if I could physically touch the person. Does that make sense? Like, I would not hesitate even for a second to call emergency services if I saw someone on the side of the road hurting. But I don't know if I
They
could.
don't care if we do.
I don't know if I could really handle that, like physically, like if I could like try to touch the person, or like be like like try to see if they're alive. I don't know if I could even get that close, because I know this sounds dumb, but I don't want to be in a situation where someone's hurting, or someone's on the brink of death, or someone has actually expired. Someone's actually passed, and they ended up expiring on the side of the road, and then I go to the scene, and then I'm trying to render some aid, because first I was like CPR and first aid certified, so I do have those credentials. I do know like how to do that kind of stuff, but basically like I would just really be afraid of like getting accused of by the police of like doing something to hurt somebody. So I would rather not even like touch a person who was like needing help. I know that sounds real bad, but like I'm just afraid of like, because I mean, like, let's be honest, like the police, they can only do so much like detective work. They can only like, and at the end of the day, they'd rather, like their job is not really to be moral, but to put people in jail. Especially with the private prison industry in America, the idea is not to actually serve justice, but to serve corporations by putting as many people in jail as possible. So I would probably call. I would not even probably. I would call 100% guaranteed. I saw someone like having some issue on the side of the road. I'm gonna call. You know what I mean? I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call. But then you have to remember, guys, like there's good Samaritan laws, and so like basically now they're trying to make it so that like I know they're trying to make it so that if you called and you were involved by calling the person that was needing
Look,
help, they can't
at
sue
Sable
you.
International's
But then you have
2023
to
Pro
be like, okay,
Death
look,
Squad. I'll believe
I
it
don't
when
want
I
to
see
get
it.
stuck in a place where someone needed help on the side of the road and I call, but then I call and then they're like, okay, so are you doing this? Are you doing that? And I'm like, well, no, I don't really want to. I don't want to have any of my like fingerprints or DNA around that body because I don't want the cops to interrogate me and say, how come we found your fingerprints on like their glasses or whatever? I'm like, well, I was just trying to help. And, and just that, because look, cops are under a ton of pressure, a ton of stress. Okay. So I don't want to give them any trouble. I don't want to have like be in a way in a situation where I'm confusing them. So I'd rather just like give them zero confusion and just not do anything that could even be remotely interpreted in a way that makes them like have to be confused about what really happened. So I would rather just be like stick to myself, not handle a person, not like touch them or try to wake them up, and just call the police. You know what I mean? That's truly what I would do. Like I know it sounds kind of messed up, but I would call. I definitely would call. I wouldn't hesitate. Okay, I wouldn't hesitate because I mean to be quite honest, right now, like I don't even pay for my cell phone. So my cell phone is is something that my parents still like provide for me. So like to have a cell phone to be able to call someone, to be able to call emergency services, like I know that that's why like that's almost like a sign of that's why I got the cell phone in the first place. It's like if I ever need to call for help for someone, I would do it. And the reason I would do it is because I mean I was blessed with parents that pay for my cell phone. You know what I mean? So otherwise, I wouldn't have a cell phone, and then I wouldn't be able to call. I wouldn't be able to call emergency services at all. And then at that point, I'd have to just, leave the scene and leave them there, and maybe drive and find help somehow. But the thing is that like I don't really get out much, so it's not like I would really know
Spider-Man, that
like
Sable unit's
where
gone
like
rogue
the
before.
hospital
Sable
would be or
International's got their
where the
hands too
police
full to do
station
anything
is.
about it, but they don't care if we do.
You know what I mean? I just wouldn't know where any of those places. I don't really go out like that. Um, I just don't want any trouble, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more than happy to just stay put where I'm at and not cause anybody any trouble. Like, I think to myself, unless I had to drive somewhere, why would I want to be another car in a traffic jam? Like some people actually have places to be, they gotta do stuff. Why do I need to be another car that's part of that traffic jam issue? Bro, that was a triple. Whoa, we got a triple on that. Well, that was pretty cool. So, that's kind of how I reason it. It's like, you know, like I don't want to be like in someone's way, especially like if they're if they have to live a life doing stuff like, they ended up, taking the investment, and they're gonna, they're living, and they gotta, they're driving, and they have to get to the hospital because, it's an emergency, and stuff like that. I'm like, I'd rather just not be an extra car on the road that has to be out there, you know. So, you know, but I mean, that's just my take on it. So I don't really get out there. I'm pretty much afraid of like, like
Sable
upsetting
International suppliers are
someone
going to
for
prosecute that
any
squad.
reason, for just my existence. So I just kind of like stay chill. I stay put. Um, but I'm more than happy to call for help, guys. Like if someone needed help, they asked me to call for help. If someone was like really actually having an issue and I was there and witnessing that, I'm gonna call for help. I'm gonna call for help, no doubt. Like every time, I will dial emergency number 911 every time. Okay, I will call for help. I wouldn't even hesitate. Are you serious? No way. I'm gonna call for help. Absolutely, I'll call, leave my information, all the information that I can provide. You know what I mean? Like that, because that's truly like that. That's something I know in my heart. Like I really wanted to provide some help. Provide some positivity, some help, be a benefit to someone, help somebody out. But would I want to like, rouse them up or see if like they're still alive? I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. You know what I mean? So that's just, I don't know. Um. So yeah, I do apologize if any of these takes are a little, a little tough. You know, but you know, now that I'm putting a mic on and I'm trying to talk, I guess I might as well just share. It's like, oh, this guy, he plays Spider-Man. I wonder what he's like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to share ideas, concepts, but at the end of the day, guys, look, I'm not a hero. Okay, I'm not a good person that should be like taken as a role model. Okay, I make mistakes all the time. Okay, um, so I'm hoping that I can at least help when I can, whenever the moment's there, and God has guided me to a place where you know I can provide some help. I want to do that. So um
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's gone rogue before. Sable International's got
but
their
like I
hands too
said,
full to do
guys,
anything about it.
the reason I tell you this is because, look, like I said, would I invite people into my home if I had kids, like, and kids living in my house? No. I unfortunately I would turn everyone away. Every man, woman, child, whatever. I would have to turn every single person away. I would give them money to get a hotel and food and an Uber for taxis or whatever, but I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you the truth. in the most literal way. I would turn away 100% of every human being that, wanted to stay in my home. If I had children and a wife and a family, I would turn everyone away. I'd be like, look, I'll give you cash, man. I'll give you cash. Here's all the cash I got that is gonna help you, get a spot, and you're gonna be fine. And and I'm gonna pray for you. But would I allow them to stay in my home? Fuck, I can't. I'm sorry,
And
but I
Sable
just can't do
International
that.
swears they're going to
I
prosecute
just
that
couldn't do
squad.
that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It's just, it's just, it can't. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't allow that kind of vulnerability. Like, especially like if people count on me. People are depending on me to, look out for them and protect them. I mean, honestly, like, I had no idea how hard it was to be a parent, and I still don't. But looking back on the way my parents were able to take care of me and my siblings, I see that it is truly a life-changing thing. I mean, your life changes when you have other people to protect and look out for, And in Spider-Man 3, uh, you know, um, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he went to his aunt and he told her that he was going to propose to Mary Jane, right? And so gave Aunt May gave Peter her ring so that he could use it to propose to Mary Jane, you know? And she told him that, the only way you should even feel even remotely comfortable in proposing to Mary Jane is if you're willing to put her first. That is truly the only way you should even dare think about proposing to her. Okay? If you're 100% willing to give your wife 100% of priority and put her needs, okay, and her security before your own. Okay, because look, I grew up with a dad who gave me a lot of good examples. He would give me the food off of his plate. And so I know in my heart, if I ever got to have kids, giving the food off of my plate to my kids is a no-brainer, It's like, yeah, like, okay, of course, my kid is still hungry or whatever. My kid gets the food. My like I'm hungry but my wife is starving. I give my wife the food because that's the kind of example, that's the kind of love that I've experienced in my life where my parents have done that for me. And so, and then with all of the good examples I've taken from Peter Parker, it's the same deal. It's like, unless you can put your wife first and take care of her and truly say, look, I will put no one else in my life as priority, like no other woman would ever take the place of my wife in my life, like no way, that was what happened in Spider-Man 3. Like, I mean, unfortunately, Peter Parker never proposed. He never got married. He never proposed to Mary Jane. He ended up, at the end, he basically ended up being at a funeral. His best friend's funeral. And I mean, Peter's such a nice guy. I mean, he still loved his friend, even though his friend at one point was trying to steal his girlfriend from him. Like literally, Harry Osborn literally trying to like make moves on Peter's girlfriend, Mary Jane. And Peter still went to the dude's funeral. And he cried for his friend. Even though his friend literally up in his face was trying to steal his girlfriend. Steal like the woman that he wanted to marry. His best friend was trying to literally steal the girl that Peter Parker was willing to give that ring to. And he still loved him with all his heart. And he cried for him. You know? So all I can say is that, these are some good examples of like people really putting themselves out there. And for me, it's a learning thing. It's like, okay, like learn from their mistakes. Learn from their mistakes, So learn. And so I'm learning, like, so that I don't have to ever make the same mistakes that Peter Parker's done. I can learn from Peter and make the good calls there. You know what I mean? So that's where my thought process is, where it's like I gotta just be grateful that I can learn from a good person, and learn a good example of what it means to, be a good person. And, from that be like, okay, you know what? I know exactly what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And so, like, those examples, just like guard yourself, and just like be friendly, be able to cooperate. But I mean, you can't just put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do it that way. Like, So, to be quite honest, like, I'm very lucky that I've never experienced that. The closest I've experienced to what that whole love triangle was with Peter, Mary Jane, and Harry Osborn, like, was when I had a crush on this girl in high school, and I asked her out on Valentine's, but she said no, which was fine. It wasn't a big deal. Like, things weren't awkward. Like, it just, but but then, like, a guy who I would help out with his homework and stuff, I would like give him the answers to homework and basically like, help him out and help him pass his class. Like, literally, he said if it wasn't for me helping him, he would not have passed the advanced placement class, the U.S. government class that we had. Or like, yeah, basically, like, if I didn't help him, he wouldn't have passed that class, right? And so the closest thing I ever experienced was like that guy who I helped a lot. He basically, like, he ended up bragging to me that he made out with the girl that I liked, and that I asked out on Valentine's. That was the girl that I bought this frog. It was like this frog prince, and it was like an animatronic frog prince, and basically it was like a dancing frog. I don't know why they they were selling some very weird stuff at the store I worked at, the Wall store, when I was working there, because that's how I ended up like seeing it, and I bought one to be like, oh, like, I'm like the frog prince, and you should give me a shot. And she said no, but then, like, which was fine, honestly. But what really got me wasn't her and her, like, rejection, because trust me, I've been rejected by a lot of women in my life, and to be honest, like, it's just a part of life, like. And at that point, looking back on it, I'm actually glad that I got rejected so much, because one, it makes me like really wise and really I'm really able to handle rejection, because I've been rejected so much. And two, I truly see like it is so difficult to be in a good relationship with someone that I'm actually very thankful that these women did not take a chance on me, because I wasn't even good. In my opinion, I wasn't even good enough for that. Like, at at no point have I ever been able to say I have a good career, I have good money coming in. Like, I've never been able to say that. I've never been able to have a car that I wasn't embarrassed about on taking a woman in. Like, I used to have a purple Mustang, and it was just like, you know. So I mean, like,
And
honestly,
Sable
like, it
International
was like,
swears they're going to prosecute that squad. I'll
it was
believe it when
kind
I
of a
see it.
blessing, honestly, to that, these women, they knew better, and they didn't want me to fail them, because me failing them is the reason why I still don't date, because I did have a girlfriend one time, and I failed, guys. I failed. I didn't have anything but time to offer her. And I mean, I did her homework and stuff, but at a certain point, she ended up just, I don't know, like, I mean, she wanted to stay together. She didn't want to break up. I swear. Really, like, literally. She told me, because she had flunked out of school, and she wanted to move back to her, city, but she wanted to stay with me. And in my heart, I was like, dude, I knew I wasn't good for her. I knew I wasn't good enough for her. I knew I couldn't take care of her, is really what it was. I just could not take care of her. And so that was a very painful lesson that I still carry with me to this day. It's a very painful lesson. Like, honestly, guys, like, to anyone who maybe still hasn't had a girlfriend experience yet, or they're thinking that, hey, I really want a girlfriend, and I think I could get a girlfriend. Well, I'm telling you guys, really, like, truly, forget forget it. Forget desiring a girlfriend, and think about what you have in your life that makes you worthy of having a good, strong relationship with someone. That I wish is what someone had told me. I
Spider-Man,
wish
that
someone told
Sable
me,
unit's gone rogue
hey,
before.
don't worry about
Sable
whether you
International's got their
get
hands
a
too full to
girlfriend or
do
not,
anything
or
about it,
if that ever
but they don't care
happens.
if we
What
do.
you should worry about is what you have in terms of, like, the ability to offer a woman a good relationship with. So, you got to be able to offer something that makes you able to build trust and loyalty with them. You know, if you don't have things that could inspire loyalty in a woman and confidence in a woman to stick with you, you got to work on that first. You know, because desiring a woman and thinking that you want one, it's like wanting a puppy, but not being able to, like, not having anything to take care of the puppy with. But you want a puppy, but you can't feed it. You don't have a bowl for it. You don't have a home to keep it safe in. You can't afford the medications, the heartworm, flea, tick medications. You can't afford any of that, and you want one. I'm like, dude, you're setting yourself up for a very, very bad time. Like, for real, setting yourself up for a bad time. So I learned an uncomfortable truth that, you know wanting to have a good relationship and being
Good.
deserving
And
of
Sable
one are
International
two different
swears they're going to
things.
prosecute that
So
squad.
if you're in a
I'll believe it when
situation
I see
where
it.
you still haven't been able to cross that threshold yet, you're still, like, single, never had a girlfriend, I say, don't worry about desiring a girlfriend, and actually work on desiring the right energy and the right mindset to have a good relationship with a girlfriend, because that is actually going to ensure that you're ready and that you can have a good relationship, you know? So don't ask for a puppy, ask to have the ability to have a home for the puppy, to afford the medicine for the puppy, to afford the food for the puppy and the water for the puppy. Ask to get that. Ask to get your mind right so you can fix all the things you need so that puppy could be well cared for and loved. And don't worry about wanting the puppy. Worry about getting everything you need to take care of that puppy, bro. So that's just my advice there. So, you know, but anyways, yeah, with the whole love triangle thing, yeah. So the guy who I was helping, I guess he's an acquaintance. I wouldn't say like he's like a best friend or anything, but he's definitely an acquaintance. He's the closest thing I have to a friend, to be quite honest. He's the closest thing I have to a friend. And so yeah, he ended up telling me like a few years after we graduated. Like it's kind of messed up, but like so I graduated like 2010 or whatever from I was valedictorian, and a few years later after I graduated college, after I graduated college, I ended up moving back in with my parents after I graduated college, and I ended up like reconnecting with my buddy, like this guy from high school or whatever. So I ended up like visiting him. Very rare for me to do, by the way, but I ended up visiting him, and then he ends up sharing that story. And the way he said it, I remember. He's like, "Hey, you remember that chick from Spanish class?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, remember like you asked her out on Valentine's Day and you got her like candy and like a frog prince thing, and you were asking her out and everything?" I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I remember." He's like, "Oh, well, like, I ended up like, making out with her." I'm like,
Spider-Man,
"Oh,
that Sable unit's gone
okay."
rogue
It
before.
was messed
Sable
up. It was
International's
messed
got
up
their
the way
hands
he
too full
told
to
me and
do
everything.
anything
I was
about
like,
it, but they
"Sheesh,
don't
dude."
care if we do.
Like, dang. That was kind of messed up. But me, I mean, at that point, like, and I mean, still, like, I'm just one of those people where I'm like, look, I'm a good guy. I want to keep a good head on my shoulders, and look, I get it. Like at that point, I was so busy with my schoolwork anyway that thinking back on it, I wouldn't have even had time for a girlfriend, to be honest. I literally, guys, literally, I just did homework every day, and I had so many advanced placement classes that I didn't even like thinking back on it. There would have been no time for me to have a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like I was so busy with work every day. Hours of homework, literal hours of homework, guys. Like sometimes in high school, sometimes there'd be so much stuff that I didn't even get to have like a full night's sleep. I would maybe have like a couple hours. And this is high school where I was working this hard, you know? So yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't have been able to offer a lot of time to a woman at that point in high school. So, I definitely dodged the bullet, but
Good.
it
And
definitely
Sable
I
International's
just thought it
square they're going
was
to
kind of
prosecute
messed
that
up
school on
that,
anything. I'll believe it when
this
I see
guy
it.
who was kind of the closest thing to like a good friend of mine would like bragged about making out with a girl that I had a crush on in high school. I'm like, dude, that like, geez. And you know what's funny is that like a few months ago he was doing this like gig, like he's trying to start his own business and stuff, which is really cool. I'm happy for him. And he needed like another like stagehand or whatever. So yeah, I actually went out and I helped him like set up for a show and everything, you know. And yeah, I mean honestly, like no hard feelings, to that guy or whatever. But I don't know. Like I just feel like, you know, like you can either have one or the other. You know what I mean? Like you can either have time for like a good loving romantic partnership with someone, or you could have like time for your buddies and guy friends. But you can't really have time for everything. You really can't. And you should never ever try like making time for both. You just shouldn't. Like, you never. Personally, I think it's a terrible idea. Like to try to have like both of a good friendship and a romantic relationship. I think it's a terrible idea. Like just based on like what I've seen from Spider-Man 3 and how like Peter Parker, Harry, and Mary Jane were all like kind of friends, but it was obvious that both of the guys liked Mary Jane. And instead of like like there being like some kind of respect where it's like, okay, like where both Peter and Harry literally just talked it out and said, look, I like her. Do you like her? And then them just like settling it and saying, okay, look, so only one of us is going to be able to be with her. And instead of them like figuring that out, they ended up like trying to ignore that and all thinking they could all be friends, but you can't do that. I'm telling you, I'm basing it off of Spider-Man. You just can't have a good guy friend and a good girlfriend at the same time. You just can't. Don't mix them. Don't mix them, guys. If you try to like hang out with your girlfriend and your guy friend at the same time, you're gonna end up getting hurt. You're gonna find out like your guy friend betrayed you, your girlfriend betrayed you, people, because that's just how it is. If you spend enough time with someone, regardless, you're gonna, I mean, unless you're like family, unless it's like, an age inappropriate thing, like if it's just like three single people hanging out together, it's gonna end up in a bad time, it really will. So like you just don't want to put yourself in that situation. I'm telling you, like poor Spider-Man, he's such a nice guy. He never even thought that his friend would betray him like that. He never thought that Harry, who was his friend since high school, would betray him and take a chance at trying to like steal Mary Jane from him. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, dude, are you serious? Like dang. So all I can say is, if you ever get a chance at one of the other guys, either you take a good guy friend and you're like, oh yeah, we're best pals, and neither of us ever date, and neither of us ever have girlfriends. Okay? Neither of us have girlfriends, and we always are just like pals with each other. Fine. Or you're like, okay, look, he was a good, friend, but I'm definitely trying to be an adult now, and I know that in order to have a good relationship, a good mutually exclusive and monogamous relationship with someone, I have to put her as number one priority, and that's just how that works. So that's just my opinion though, but it's based on like the movies, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, Spider-Man couldn't have it all, right? He literally could not have it all. He tried to. He tried having a good guy friend in his life, and he tried having a girlfriend that he wanted to make into his wife. And at the end of that trilogy, he ended up not having a wife, and he lost his best friend. Okay? So the lesson there, guys, be grateful for what you got. And if you get a chance, bro, if you get an opportunity, only add one thing that's going to take priority in your life. one thing. Don't try to have two things going on in your life. You prioritize one thing, or you're gonna end up losing everything. You're gonna end up losing everything. You know? Just assume that you can't have it all. Okay? So it's just one of those things of life, guys. Like I said, I've been very lucky to be able to, contemplate that stuff and be like, do like Spider-Man, you know? Through Spider-Man and all the movies, I've found a lot of things that I have to think about, you know? So, guys, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm just texting my mom right now. Good night. I'm texting my mom good night. So, I do that all the time. So, I really don't care if anyone thinks I'm a mama's boy because they're only half right. Because I also text my dad. So, um, so now if they say I'm a family boy, even though my family is pretty much broken up, I still I still I still hold on to all the pieces. My family may be broken, but I will hold on to those pieces. Like that's just how I am. I'll hold on to those pieces. So anyways, um yeah. So don't try to have it all, guys. Don't have to try don't don't try to have it all. Like I said, yeah, like if I ended up ever getting to a good place in my life where I could start being an adult, and I could actually like live like a life story, I know for sure the first thing I'm doing is focusing on that thing which opened up for me and just stay with it. Stay with it, never change, never divert routes. Just stick with that the entire time for the rest of my life. Just stick with it. That's the only way I'm actually going to be happy. Don't try to add a whole bunch of stuff. Nah, just stick with one good thing. You get one good thing in your life. Like for me, I have my parents, right? So I'm gonna stick with my parents. But let's be honest, like what I would really hold out for is, like being able to, grow up, become an adult, maybe like have a relationship, That would probably be the next step in my life, Because I mean, it's really my parents pushing me. They're like, hey, like, you know, you should get a girlfriend. You should find like, you should like, find a good job and buy a house and stuff. And I tell them, yeah, I definitely am hoping and working on getting the right mentality and having my eyes on when the right opportunity comes along. Oh, look at that red rain. So, you know, um, I'm definitely hoping, for, the right thing to come along, but I mean, in my life, I can't just let anyone in my life, like, I just can't. It's just, like, for me, just looking back on how my life is, I know this has all kind of been the same pattern and trend. Like I've never really, like let's be honest. Like I've mentioned this before. I've never really been one to put
Good.
myself
Then
out
Sable
there.
International
It's
swears
always
they're
been
going to
people
prosecute
having
that
to
squad.
like
I'll believe it when I
interact
see
with
it.
me, ask me for something. You know, like I told you, I used to sit at alone at lunch time. I used to have an entire large table to myself. There were only 6 tables in my middle school. There were only 6 tables for the whole sixth grade class. So that's over 100 kids, right? And there were only 6 tables in the whole cafeteria. So, you know, like you could have like dozens of kids sit on one table. And I remember, I don't know why this happened, but I remember having my own table. Like no one else would sit next to me for like until one guy finally did, who I met in math class and a math club, and he sat next to me, and we ended up like hanging out during lunch. And then when he was hanging out with me and we were just hanging out in the cafeteria, then other people would start coming to the table and they would hang out with us too. So, and then it technically just became a de facto like, you know, like table where people would sit with us. But I would always sit at that table. I never sat at other tables. And I remember there was this guy I had like in my classes, and I thought me and him were friends, right? And basically like we were friends, but it was like kind of a group of 4 guys. So it was like me, him, this other kid, and this other kid. It was 4 of us, right? And then there was this kid, his name was True, and he ended up moving. He ended up moving, so then when he moved, the group was kind of broken up. And then I remember I was like, I thought I was, you know, still friends with the other guy. And I remember when we were in lunch, at the lunch line, and we were waiting in line, when we got our food, and I was still following him, he told me his words. He said, "Don't follow me." He told me not to follow him.
Spider-Man, that's
So I
Sable
didn't,
Unit's
right? I didn't follow him.
Sable
I
International's
didn't
got their
follow
hands too
him,
full
and
to do
then
anything about it.
that's when I just
They don't
sat
care
at
if
that one table alone the whole time. I just sat by myself until that other kid sat sat there at the table with me, and then we ended up being friends, and then other people then started sitting. And then I remember the kid who I thought was kind of like a friend, and he told me not to follow him, and so he let me sit by myself. I remember the table I was at, it got so popular that he ended up coming back to the table. The table, not back to the table. He ended up coming back to the table that I was sitting at, myself by myself at for a while. I remember when he came back, I kind of was like looking at him, I'm like, dude, you're so fake. Like, you know, like that dude was so fake. He wasn't really my friend. That dude wasn't my friend at all. You know, like, when I really thought, like when I really needed a friend. Not that I needed a friend, but when I really thought he was a person I could like hang out with during lunch, he wasn't. He wasn't that guy.
And Sable International
You
swears they're
know,
going to prosecute
he
that squad.
wasn't. He let me
I'll believe it
just
when I see
sit
it.
by myself, dude. And then when other people were starting to sit next to me, and then the table got popular, okay, then he came back. And I was just like, dude, I can't trust that dude. I'll never trust that dude. It's just a life lesson. Like you can definitely cooperate with people, but I mean, unless you really know deep in your heart that they would choose you over anybody else, don't trust them. Like for me, I've lived my life where I know my mom and my dad would choose me over anyone in the whole world. They've told me as much. They told me they would choose me over anybody else, right? Like me, my brother, my sister, my parents would choose us over anyone else in the whole world, right? So unless you have relationships based on that, don't even bother putting yourself through any BS, guys. I'm telling you, don't even bother. It's just not worth it. You're gonna end up getting yourself like you're gonna end up bumming yourself out more than anything. So that's all I can say. If you can find someone who's willing to choose, because like I said, guys, I've lived a life where I see the difference between my parents' love and everyone else. You know, well, I mean, like, you know, for that experience. I mean, this is gonna bum me out, but I mean, I feel like, when I had that, when I did have like my girlfriend, like that one girlfriend that one time, like over 10 years ago, I felt like, yeah, maybe, I mean, she really liked me a lot, and I failed her, but that's why I won't even put myself out there
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's gone rogue before.
unless I could
Sable
truly be
International's got their hands too full to do anything
the
about it.
best
They
man
don't
for
care if
for
it
someone. Like that's the only way I would ever want to date ever again. Is if I know like I could be really good to someone and really good for someone. You know? So that's the only way I would do it. So but yeah. So yeah, like I said, like that's really the only way I mean I'd even like be able to like trust someone is if I knew that I could pick them over anyone else and they would pick me over anyone else. You know, like I know like, and here's where it's at, guys. Like, and this is where it's gonna sound like messed up, but it's like, like honestly, like I would do my best to, really watch out for the people that, are in my life and have shown me love. And so it's like I remember I remember in Spider-Man 1 in the movie, the Green Goblin makes Spider-Man have to choose between Mary Jane and a cart, like a trolley cart full of children at the bridge, right? Green Goblin forced Spider-Man to either like choose his girlfriend or choose to save a bunch of little kids. What a tough situation. Isn't that crazily tough though? And you know what? Oh man, ain't that messed up though? That Green Goblin forced Spider-Man to have to
And Sable
choose.
International swears they're
Oh,
going to
dude,
prosecute that
hurts
squad.
every time,
I don't want
dude.
to see it.
Hurts every time. It hurts every time to think about that, guys. You know, hurts every time. That's why I'm telling you guys, like, look, I'm not a role model here. You know, like, obviously, if I had the power to, I would do exactly what Spider-Man did. I would save both. I would save, I would save my girlfriend, and I would save the bus full of kids. You know, the trolley cart, the Roosevelt trolley cart. I would save both people. Like that's a no-brainer. Okay, I would say both people. No brainer, no duh. You know what I mean? So, but when I say like in reality that I'm actually hoping to have someone who would choose me over choosing other people. Like I would do that, I'd be like I hope that I could find someone who makes me feel like they wouldn't pick someone else. Like for example, like my sister, she ended up picking her I guess her guy friend over me, right? She picked her guy friend over me. She said she'd rather have this guy at the apartment that I pay for, that she and I pay half the rent for, and that he's like, you know, he's not watching her dog, and he's letting the dog pee and poop in the house, and then he ends up like laughing at me that I have to clean the pee and poop, right? Because basically he was like, my sister supposedly was asking him to, you know, take the dog out when he was there, but instead of taking the dog out, he would just leave the dog out of the room, and then the dog would pee and poop in the house, and then when I would go to make dinner or something, the dog's pee and poop would be in right there in where I walk. So I would have to, you know, clean up, and then the dog would be outside by himself. So I ended up having to, you know, hang out. Like, I watched the dog, and I would clean after the dog. And so when I told my sister that this was happening, she didn't care. So she chose that dude over me, right? Basically. So I'm saying, like, I would choose, like, if I had a good relationship where I felt really good with someone and we were very compatible and I had everything I needed to offer her so that she would feel secure and happy with me. And let's say there was a situation where my sister needed me to do something, like she needed me to like drive somewhere, or she needed me to pick up something for her, and my partner needed me to do something for her, and I only had the time to do one, I would do for my partner before I would do for my sister. You know what I mean? And that's really messed up, right? But I'm trying to be real here, guys. I'm trying to be real. That's why I keep telling you guys, I'm not a role model. I'm a human being. Okay? I'm a human being who can only do so many things, right? I'm one guy. I'm one dude. Okay? I can only be at one place at one time, and I can only prioritize so many things, guys. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is that for me personally, based on what I've learned from Peter Parker and his life, okay? Like, you sometimes we gotta make the hard decisions. And so I'm trying to be real here, guys. I'm trying to be super honest that I've been living experiences that, you know, forced me to have to make tough decisions and to steel myself, basically, like to prepare myself for if those and if those situations ever arose. You know what I mean? Like, because ideally, even though my sister and I had a bit of a falling out, I love my sister, so of course, like, if she needed me to do her a favor, fine. But all I'm saying is that if I had to choose between fulfilling a favor to her and fulfilling a favor to my partner, who I was in a good committed relationship with, I would do for my partner before I do for my sister. But if I had the ability, I would do for both. But I'm saying, like, in a way where it's a time constraint. Time constraint. Where it's like I can only do one or the other. Where in my life, literally, it's a time constraint. I can only do one or the other. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do both. In that situation, I've already come to the strong belief and conclusion that what's going to be good for me is prioritizing my adult relationships, okay, and prioritize a personal family over, you know, like my siblings, fortunately, you know. But it's not like it was an easy thing to come to, guys. Like, and that's literally what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to really spell it out for you guys, like, as a real person. I'm like, dang, like, you know, these are really tough things to say. Like, who wants to admit that they would choose, like, if they had to pick, who wants to admit that they would choose this over that? You know? Like, I mean, and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be out here and be real and say, look, I'll have to make a choice, right? Because, like, not making a choice means I lose everything. If I don't make a choice, then I lose everything, guys. And that's how it is in life. If you fail to make a choice, then you don't get a choice and everything goes away. So you have to make a choice. So it's the same thing for me, guys. And right now, in terms of my content, I can only play one game at a time. Okay? I'm not a superhuman here. I can't play two different games and stream them both, right? So I have to make a choice. So I was playing Fallout 4, but I came to the real conclusion that Spider-Man Remastered and Spider-Man Miles Morales are the two games I prefer and prioritize playing over any other game. For real, for real. I would play these games over those games anytime. And in a way, this is good because it shows me that I'm not only able to prioritize one game at a time, because that's how I am, but that I would be okay playing the same game over and over again. Because that makes me feel like, yes, I can be consistent, I can be stable, okay? And I can be true to myself. That I don't have to like chase after trends. I don't have to go after what's popular. That I literally am just doing what speaks to me, what makes me feel right, and what makes me feel like I'm doing something that I want to do and that I enjoy doing.
Good. And Sable International swears
So
they're going to prosecute
that
you
lesson there is
I'll believe it when I see
choice.
it.
You have to be confident enough to make the choice. And for me personally, okay, I pray all the time that God helps me make the right choices. Okay? Because it's not easy. It's not easy making choices, guys. It's not easy. Okay? We make choices every day. And slowly but surely, you know, our lives are just a collection of our choices and our decisions. And so all I'm saying is that I've experienced a lot of things that I am finally now having to be comfortable making the choices based on. So it's like, hey, if I had a choice, like basically with, you know, everything, then I'm going to make a choice that I know I pray on and that I'm happy with. That's the truth. That I pray on it and I'm happy with it. So that's just how my life is, man. It's just you gotta start being comfortable making choices. And I mean, bro, it could have happened where Peter was trying to save both, right? He was trying to save his girlfriend and the Roosevelt cart of children. And it could have so easily turned out bad where Mary Jane ended up dying. You know? Where Mary Jane, because remember, he grabbed Mary Jane first. Okay? He saved her first. He grabbed her first, and then he swung around, and then he basically was holding onto the cart. And then he asked Mary Jane to slide on the cable so that he didn't have to have a split. And then the Green Goblin was the Green Goblin was still messing with him there too. So all I can say is that these things, you know, like it's just, you gotta be prepared, guys. You gotta be prepared to make the tough decisions. I used to try my best to not have to make tough decisions in my life. I didn't want to pick any one thing, guys. I felt that if I just tried picking a little of everything, that would suffice. But I've learned that the way to truly be happy is through quality and not quantity. It's the quality of things. It's not the quantity. Some people think that they that they can feel better when they have things quantified, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, I've been to all these places. I definitely feel whole and fulfilled in my life. And those people are only lying to themselves. Those people are only lying to themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's not the quantity, it's not the places they went to. It's the quality, what they were able to accomplish. So I definitely think that, you know, when people start trying to talk about quality of experiences or they got to do so much this and that, like some things, especially that I know Jesus Christ is real, some things are, they aren't replaceable. Some experiences you just never get to have. And so, you know, I would never trade any of my experiences with growing up in my family with anything. You know, I know how lucky I am to have grown up able to play games I wanted, to do well in school and have a lot of people know who I am, and to have loving parents, and to be able to have said, yeah, I was a very avid volunteer in high school. Not only did I work part-time on the weekends at the wall store, but I also volunteered, and I was an honor roll student. I was taking college classes. Um, you know, I was balancing all of that stuff. And yeah, I never really went to any high school parties, not even once. And yeah, I can't really say I've ever really had, you know, I don't have a high school sweetheart or anything like that. But what I can say is that I have a lot of good experience that make me feel like I have done stuff in my life, you know, and that I am very, very happy and fortunate to have what I have, you know, like super fortunate. And so all I can say is that I wouldn't trade any of my experiences for anything, you know? Like if someone said, "Oh, Ben, like if you salsa, if you grew up, if you had a choice, would you, you know, would you trade your good childhood for, you know, to become like a billionaire or something?" I'd be like, honestly, no. I'd rather live with the peace of having grown up very well, even if that meant I couldn't secure my future, you know, because I at least grew up with the love that I needed to know of to inspire me to believe that Jesus is real, so that I could actually live the life I needed to live, you know, as opposed to not having that, not having that love, not having faith in Jesus, and then living sumptuously like that rich man, and then being sent to hell because I failed to actually grasp the truth and what's important in life. You know, that I chose money over love. Like no, I wouldn't. I don't want that. You know, like I don't want that. And that's what makes Peter such a relatable hero to me. Is that this guy chose love of his relationships over money. He chose honor and duty over money. This guy could have been, you know, he could have been working for, you know, he could have been working for like Sable International. He could have been working for AIM, you know, AIM Laboratories. He could have been working for Iron Man. He could have been doing all this stuff. And what he does instead is he chooses to forego those opportunities at establishing himself, because he knows that if he's not out here, okay, watching the streets, if he's not out here patrolling the alleys, okay, like I help him do, if he's not out here doing that, no one else is gonna do that. So he's willing to get evicted from his apartment to do the right thing. He's willing to do this stuff because he knows that love is better than any amount of money that he could earn. That doing the right thing may you know, it may put him out of the running for, you know, being able to afford a home and have, you know, a family, but he did the right thing anyway. He put his heart into honor, into duty, into protecting people who can't protect themselves. That's why he's so relatable to me. That's why I really, really, really appreciate his story. That's why I'm playing Spider-Man right now. Okay? That's why I put so much time into practicing how to play this game. That's why I put so much joy into my stream, why I put so much energy out here. Okay? I do it because I believe in the example of Spider-Man. Even in the movies, in the trilogy, in the Raimi trilogy, you know, like when Aunt May is moving from her home because she got evicted from her home because Uncle Ben, he wasn't there to pay the bills, so she got evicted. And then there was that neighbor kid who was helping Aunt May take her stuff out to move. That kid was asking Peter Parker, hey, is Spider-Man coming back? And Aunt May said, you know, kids, little kids, they need good examples. And it's not just little kids. People, we could all do with a good example in our lives. That's why I'm so grateful that I found Jesus as a good example. And that's why I'm grateful that I have found Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales as good examples. I found them both as all three of these people as good examples. Okay? That's the truth. That's the truth. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, Salsa, that's good and all. Okay? But 2 out of 3 of those people aren't even real. And Jesus is literally God. So are you saying that there is no other person on this earth that provides a good example? And me personally, I don't really get out much. So me personally, yeah, you have a good point, guys. I don't really know of too many other good examples. And I'm very scared to even try to name any good examples for anybody. Because, I mean, guys, we've seen a lot of fallen heroes, all right? We've seen a lot of good people, okay, have very dark undersides. I mean, I'm thinking, you know, like with that whole thing of Bill Cosby. Like, I remember I've been watching shows like the Boondocks. I was watching the Boondocks. I was watching Black Jesus. These shows, right? And they named Bill Cosby as a good guy, right? As a really awesome, nice guy. But apparently he was up to some very bad stuff. And I'm just like, man, that stuff did not age well at all. And so I'm just saying, like, don't trust nobody. The only good example that I'm 100% so confident in promoting is Jesus Christ. I won't promote anyone else. Okay, and no offense to anyone, but I refuse to promote anybody else on this earth. Okay, only Jesus gets promoted here. I don't promote nobody. There's no one else that I'm gonna ever promote. Nobody. I don't even promote myself, guys. I wouldn't promote myself for nothing. I'm saying you want a good example, you gotta look to Jesus. Okay? You want a good example of a self-sacrificial hero, okay? You can look to some comics too. But 100% Jesus is the only best example, the number one example that I would ever feel comfortable promoting in all situations. And that red rain was close. So that's the truth. That's the truth of this channel, guys. Okay. Now for me, it's just awesome that I can play a guy who comes as close to a self-sacrificial hero as possible. I mean, I'm thinking other heroes that really sacrifice besides Spider-Man. I'm thinking because I played a lot of other superhero games, guys. The Hulk, but he wasn't really a sacrificial hero. Wolverine, but he wasn't like a sacrificial hero. Yeah, like I feel like, especially this story, Spider-Man's story, which we have to play again at some point, guys. We gotta play that story again. We'll do it. We'll do like a 12-hour, and we'll just do the whole game in one shot again. But honestly, like, you won't hear me promote any human people besides Jesus, who was half man, who was man and God. I won't promote anyone here. I have no interest in gaining anyone's favor, so I'm not promoting anybody. Like, there is not another human being who exists on this earth or has ever existed that I would feel comfortable promoting besides Jesus Christ. So that's just the truth, guys. That's just how it's gonna be here. If anyone has a problem with that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. If anyone takes umbrage with that idea that I would not promote anybody, like I hear stories about people doing good stuff. I heard about this guy, Mr. Beast or whatever, and he gave like 1,000 people like surgeries for their eyes and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. People can do good stuff, but would I absolutely say, oh yeah, I'm gonna promote this guy no matter what? It's like, no. He's a human. He makes mistakes. No one on this earth is perfect by any means. No one is perfect on this earth. No one walking on this earth is holier than Jesus Christ. So if you think I'm gonna be like negative and not acknowledge other people's good deeds, then no, you're wrong. I think that's good. I think that's good when people, when people promote love, mercy, and compassion to others. Okay? I think that's perfect. I think that's a good way of being. And I wish we could all do that more often. Okay? I wish we could. Like, for real. I wish we could. But would I say, like, I'm gonna promote him? No. I'm not gonna promote that guy. I'm only gonna promote Jesus. I'm only promoting Jesus Christ here. So gonna bring out the tough questions, guys. Or I'm gonna give you guys the tough answers here, okay? So I hope that after a while, if I truly give you all the things that make a person real, like, it's not like, I'm like, guys, come on now, how many people do you know are gonna come out here and make choices? Okay, they're gonna make choices. Not many, right? I mean, the whole trend, like the last few years, like the way Hollywood has been, the way the culture has been, it's been a failure. A failure of making real good choices. It's been a failure. Okay? It's been a failure to make the right choices. That's what the last few years has been. It's just that's literally how it's all been. You know? It's been the last few years where the choices just haven't been good. And I've been guilty, guys, of that. I failed to make good choices in my life. If I made the right choices in my life every time,
Good.
I probably
And
would be,
Sable
you
International
know,
swears they're going to
who
prosecute
knows where
the
I'd be.
squad.
Maybe I'd actually be a functional adult. I'd be a functioning adult right now. You know? I'd be a functional adult. But I'm not. I'm not a functional adult. I'm a guy who's a few months away from pretty much losing my spot here. And all I can think of is if my parents don't take me in, if they don't have to, and they're really hoping that they don't have to, then I'm probably gonna just I'm probably just gonna hang out on the beach, follow the beaches, follow the beach. Maybe I'm thinking, look, if I make a sand pillow and a sand bed, you know, but literally, like I'm thinking, okay, look, if I make it so that the sand, I shape it to contour the curvature of my spine and just so that it's like ergonomically comfortable, right? So I make like a bump, like a little bit more of a pile upward for my head, and I just kind of pump up more sand for, you know, the curvature of my back, for my lumbar. You know, it won't be too uncomfortable, you know? Like, and as like warming, I could just cover myself in sand, you know? Like I could cover myself, like sand could be a blanket too. You know what I mean? So these things are possible. And so I'm already starting to consider that. Now, would I prefer just working in an office a few days a week and just being able to afford my apartment? Yes. But from what I saw, I was already willing to transfer and be a cashier. But who knows why it didn't work out. I know it wasn't because of me. Because I think it's truly unfair to be so beholden to a system that doesn't, that literally, like, everyone, you know, like, we say, oh, it's, you know, corporations too big to fail and stuff, but really, it's like, come on. Like, for real, it's the culture is just, the culture thinks it's too big to fail. That's the problem, guys. That's the problem. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just a failure, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, think about it. Too big to fail is the pride before the fall. You know? It's the pride before the fall. It's so obvious, I don't even understand how anyone could not see that coming. You know? Like, for real. Like, how are you gonna tell me that banks are too big to fail? How are you gonna tell me that the US government thinks that it doesn't have to make any sense and it can just, like, you know what's too big to fail? The pride of the people at the top. Because they try to equate, you know, themselves as the US government. Like, the big banks tried to say, yeah, the big banks are too big to fail. And so they try to cover that. I'm like, are you serious? Nothing should be too big to fail if it fails because it tried to take shortcuts. And it only did that because of avarice, man. Avarice. Now, there were a lot of good people, a lot of good presidents in American history that gave themselves, that
Good.
basically martyred
International swears
themselves
they're going to
for
prosecute
the
that crime.
continuation
I'll believe it when I see it.
of this country. JFK and Lincoln come to mind. Okay, a lot of good people that have fought to preserve this country as presidents. So if it weren't for that sacrifice there, okay, this country would be a whole nother thing. But it's only because of so many good people who have literally martyred themselves on the idea that America deserves to continue. That's the only reason America's still around, is because of the people who have infused their energy and gave their life so that America could continue. That's the only reason it hasn't failed yet. And what sucks is that, I mean, the last time we had a leader who was able to justify America's existence was back in the 60s, right? With John F. Kennedy. And since then, nothing. We've only had people who thought, they should start wars in the Middle East, like George W. Bush. We've had presidents who, did not have sexual relations in the White House. We've had presidents who, everything's too big to fail, so don't worry about it. He got it. Like, that's all we've had so far. That's all we've had. You know, it's like, bro, that's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. Like I said, I'm lucky that I don't do politics, guys. I avoid all that stuff because it's just very unpalatable. If you guys haven't seen it, I have a I have a bit of a playlist where it's called I Am Jesus Christ and Your President, and I played these two games. I Am Your President prologue, and I Am Jesus Christ prologue. And in the one game where I play I Am Your President, okay, I didn't even get to get nominated for a second term. Okay, I didn't even get to get nominated, guys. Why? Because my party didn't like me, because I wasn't gonna play politics. I was actually gonna get work done. You know what I mean? So my own party and you'll see it if you watch that stream. It's a highlight. If you watch it, you'll see I did my very best. Okay, I read the quotes from past presidents. I tried to pray for the guidance so I could lead this country well and do what I need to do to take care of its people, because that's what I was voted to do. But my own party, I went to the convention, and the party the party that I was in did not want me to run again. They didn't want me to get the nomination. And trust me, guys, I've thought, okay, well, look, obviously, yes, I would start my own political party. You know, we have what? We have the Republicans, we have the Democrats. I would literally start a third party, but they didn't give me that choice. So I can't do that for you guys. Okay? In the game, they didn't let me have that choice. But I definitely would love to start a third party. Okay? Like, absolutely. You know, I think I'd love it. But you know what? The founding fathers didn't even want us to affiliate with parties. They were terribly against the manifestation of political parties. They didn't want people to fall into a party system. They didn't like the founders of America did not want parties to rule. They didn't. They didn't. So it's a failure of the system right now and a failure of the ideals. Okay. So I think, it shouldn't be based on politics. It should be based on what you are trying to achieve given a minimum of 4 years and a maximum of 8 years. Okay? What can you achieve? So, you know, not everything can be fixed, But yeah, so I mean, I tried. I really tried, you know. I didn't even want to, guys. I was like, nah, I really shouldn't play these games because I just don't want to have a big head, like for real. Like playing a game where I play as president, that's some prideful shit. I just don't want to fall into that thing, guys. Like I don't. And then honestly, playing the I Am Jesus Christ prologue, that teared me up. That was pretty nice. I actually like that. But still, like, I mean, still, like, I just want to be careful with that stuff because, like I said, I'm not a good person. I'm not a good role model, guys. Like, let's be honest. Like, and this is gonna sound bad, guys, but look, I'm a man, right? I'm a man. I'm not Spider-Man, okay? I'm just a man. I can only be at one place at one time, okay? I can only do so much. So I'm gonna say that, yeah, if I could help everyone at any time, all the time, I would. But let's say I was in a situation where I had to choose. I had to make a choice. And I couldn't save everyone. Okay? I couldn't, because I'm just a man. I'm not a hero, guys. Okay? And I only could have a choice where it's like, okay, I could either be at this place and help this person, or I could be at another place and help another person. Okay? And I had to make a choice. Guys, I'm gonna let you know that I would try helping everyone. I'd try helping both people. Okay? I try helping both people. But I'm going to be realistic here. If I can't help everyone, okay, I know that I'm going to choose the people that I am confident would be the people that I know I want to help. That I would pick the people that in my heart speaks to that I want to help. Is that, like, is that everyone? I can't just come out here and say, yeah, I want to help everyone all over the world and stuff. Look, I can't. Okay? I'm not a hero, guys. You definitely shouldn't look to me as a role model here. Okay? Like, if I can help someone, if I can be nice to someone, be positive to someone, I absolutely will. Okay? It doesn't cost me anything to be nice and respectful to someone. Okay? That doesn't cost me a thing. If I could be respectful to you, okay? I absolutely will. It's a human thing. It's a compassion thing. Okay? I don't have any doubt about that. But if I was a surgeon and I could only help one person or another, okay, I'm gonna have to make a choice. Okay, so I'm telling you, if I had to save one person or another person, I would have to make a choice. I couldn't just stay stuck and not help anyone. Okay, I'm trying to tell you guys that yes, I would have to. I would pray, and I would go ahead and I would have to help and save one person, and I couldn't save two people. If that was a situation, okay? That's what I'm trying to say here, guys. Okay? Because I'm only one guy. I can't save everyone. So I'm just trying to be real here. I don't think people understand. That's real. Okay? You go ahead and you ask someone else to be absolutely real and admit that if they had to make a choice and they could only say one person to the other, go ahead and ask them to admit that they would only be able to save one person and that they would have to make the choice and decision to save that person. People don't want to admit that they can't help everyone at all times. People don't want to admit that. But I'm here to admit it. I'm here to be real. Okay? I'm here to be real. Okay? That I can't save everyone. Okay? You know, like I can only do so much. I'm only one person. Okay? So I'm really sorry, you guys, if anyone takes any offense to the realness that I'm speaking about. That's all I can say. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you know? Like, obviously, if I had to be in a situation where I had to save my girlfriend or a bus of children, okay? Obviously, I'm gonna try to do what Spider-Man did. I'm gonna go for saving my girlfriend first, and then save the bus of children. Obviously, guys. I mean, who's gonna sit here and say that they wouldn't try to save both, and that if they saw a trolley car or something, you know, like, all I can say is that, guys, no one wants to admit the realness here. But I'm actually trying to be real here, guys. I'm actually trying to be real. I'm not trying to just sit here and play Spider-Man and have tons of people tell me, oh, you're entertaining, and me fail to acknowledge that Spider-Man is only a person who can only save so many people. He's not like Scarlet Witch where he can change reality and bend reality to her will. He's not Thor. He's not Iron Man. Okay? He's not a person who can literally, like, you know, like, he's not one of these people that can change, like, can truly, like, bend reality, bro. Can't do it. He can only make choices, and he could do some extraordinary stuff, but he definitely can't save the entire world all at once whenever he wants. And he could definitely help save a lot of people, but at great expense to himself, to his own safety, to his own life. So, you know, like, I know, like, you guys, you know, you're gonna be like, oh, like, look, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna do the safe answer here. That's also the real answer. If I have to pick between my partner or a bus full of children, I'm gonna go after trying to save my partner first, who doesn't have the protection of being in a bus, and then I'm gonna try to save the children. And I apologize to anyone who's offended. Okay, I apologize, because I know there's plenty of people out there, I'm sure, who would say, no, no, no. Look, if I was married for so and so years with my woman, my wife, or whatever, but there was a situation where my wife was about to fall off a cliff, and a bus full of children were gonna fall off a cliff. Yeah, I would, unfortunately, I'd let my wife go and save the bus full of children. I'm sure there's people out there who would do that, and they'd be like, yeah, I know my wife, she'd want me to do that. She'd want me to let her go so that a bus full of children could be saved. Okay, and that's beautiful. That is incredibly beautiful and incredibly touching. Okay, That is a very touching sentiment. Okay? That is so touching. Like, for real. That is profoundly touching. Like, you have no idea. Okay? That is profoundly touching. Okay? I don't know. Guys, like I said, that's why I'm not a role model here, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not a role model. Because what can I do? Am I gonna just admit, even before I even have a chance at a relationship, that I would say, oh yeah. You know, like, I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to think that I could do what Spider-Man does and just save everybody. But the thing is that I know that he can't save everybody. In the Raimi trilogy, in every trilogy, in every movie, Spider-Man loses people. Every movie, he loses people. Even in the Away from Home, Homecoming, all that stuff, he loses his aunt. He loses his aunt. Okay? He ends up asking Doctor Strange to make everyone forget about him. He doesn't even get to have Mary Jane. Spider-Man loses. He loses a ton.
Spider-Man, that Sable unit's gone rogue before.
It's
Sable
just,
International's got their hands too full
I mean, even in the Amazing Spider-Man, he loses his girlfriend Gwen Stacy. In the Raimi trilogy, he loses his uncle. He loses his best friend. He loses... He loses his mentor. He loses so many people. Spider-Man loses every movie. Spider-Man loses. You know? Like, I don't know what you guys... I don't know, I'm only one guy. I'm only salsa. I'm only one person. I'm praying so much. I'm praying so much. I'm praying so much to have a good mentality, because I know that, hey, nothing in this life is guaranteed. Nothing in this life is guaranteed. And I can't expect to have my family forever. You know, I couldn't even expect to have a good relationship, romantic partnership with someone. And if I do, I couldn't even expect to be around, or she be around, for the rest of our lives. Like, I can't just assume I'm gonna be able to have everything. You know? That's why I'm trying to tell you guys, it would be incredibly hard for me to choose a bus full of children
Good.
over my
Sable
girlfriend or my
International
partner or
swears
my
they're
wife or
keeping that
whatever,
squad. I'll believe it when I
or
see
my
it.
mom or my dad, my siblings. It would be hard for me to admit that. It would be hard, incredibly difficult for me to come out here and admit and be able to say, oh yeah, I would in this situation, I choose this, saving this person over this person, these people over that person, this over that. It's difficult because all I can have in this life of mine is the opportunity to sacrifice time and offer time to the people I love. That's all I have. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's just sacrificing time. So it makes me upset to think, about loss, you know? Makes me upset. Like I don't, you know, but I'm praying. I pray all the time, guys. I pray all the time that if I could be strong enough. I pray that God helps my heart so I could be strong enough to endure. That if I lost in the same way that Spider-Man had to lose people, that God helps me. That's why. I just you know, like I've already had two close calls losing my dad. Like almost 10 years ago, my dad had appendicitis, and it seems like every single doctor just could not put two brain cells together to realize that my dad had appendicitis. And so they let my dad suffer with appendicitis until it had ruptured in his body. Until it had ruptured in his body, guys. Okay? Like that right there, I'm like, are you serious?
Sable International's got their hands too full to do anything about it, but they don't care if we do.
And then just the just last year, my dad wouldn't even really tell me what happened, but apparently they had to operate on him and put in a tube that led from his hand to his heart. He won't even tell me. He wouldn't even tell me. But apparently he was in the emergency room and he got operated on. He wouldn't even tell me. He won't even tell me what happened. So it's not like things aren't happening in my life where I have to really understand. And I'm so sorry to anyone who's already lost. And I'm just praying to God that I can be strong. I don't know, it's just, what am I supposed to do, guys? You know, like I just feel like I wish I could
Good.
just have that
Sable International swears they're
peace
going to prosecute that squad.
of
I'll
mind
believe it when
locked
I see
in.
it.
You know, that I could have that peace of mind locked in. And I'm really praying for that, guys. You know, as much as it hurts me to say, I want to be as good of a person as I can be. And even though I would, I would, it would just tear me up to lose any of the people that I love and I have in my life, my parents. It would tear me up to lose either of them. You know, it would tear me up. I don't really, I don't really know I don't know, guys. You know, if you guys are looking for a martyr, I don't think that I'm really the type. I'm really trying to be as good as a person as I can be, but you know, I don't know what I mean honestly. Like when I say, you know, like is it time for the world to have another martyr? Another guy who's like able to do something, make a big positive impact, and then the world, you know, kind of assassinates him, or you know, his his airplane goes down, or his jet plane fails. Who knows? Who knows? I don't. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like I said, Jesus already made that sacrifice for us. So, you know, I don't really know what else I can do besides tell you to pray on Jesus. That's all I can tell you. That's all I feel safe and confident telling you. You know? Oh man.
Spider-Man, that Sable
I'm
unit's
sure
gone
at some
rogue
point
before. Sable International's got their
I'll
hands
stop
too
talking
full
so
to do
real,
anything
right?
about it, but they don't care if we do.
I don't know, guys. I just, you know, it's just it's like I can figure out, you know, why I like Spider-Man so much. Why he's such a good hero for me, you know? Like, but at the end of the day, you know, that kind of like sacrifice, like I mean, you know, it's not for the faint of heart. I get it. I don't know, guys. For me, it's so easy to say to just point to Jesus and say, look, Jesus already did the work for us, guys. He's the one who fought to offer us a chance of salvation. You know, he's the guy. You know, I don't know, guys. I just hope I can live a life where I I make good
Good.
decisions and I
If Sable
don't hurt
International
anyone,
swears they're going to prosecute that squad,
and that,
I'll believe it when
when
I
it's
see it.
my time to go, I will have at least provided something of value to inspire someone else to at least make some good decisions for them and not hurt anyone and just keep that going. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna stream tomorrow for sure. I'm streaming tomorrow. We're gonna um we're gonna talk about Invictus tomorrow. Talk a little bit about poetry and play a little bit more Spider-Man. So thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure as always. Have a good one. I will catch you guys next time.